Hello everybody, welcome to the Gyrocopter Flying Club. Don't forget to book your place on the web stream seminar on July the 11th, a link for which is in the description. In this film I'd like to give you an update on the Magni M16 November 316 Mike Golf accident at the end of May that I reported upon a couple of weeks ago. The accident happened at Cape Girardeau Regional Airport on May 29. And initially a report suggested the aircraft crashed following a go-around. We now have the NTSB prelim report, and it reveals probably the most incredible set of actions I've ever read about. Whilst the final report will be some time away, the facts as they've been presented are unlikely to change, and worthy of comment if only to highlight to those in a similar position to prevent anything similar happening. The weather was fairly unchallenging, and you can see from this film that the immediate surrounding terrain is very flat and featureless, and there are few obstacles on either the undershoot or the overshoot, and that may be relevant later. From a gyrocopter perspective, it's a large airfield. Runway 28, which is this one we're approaching, is 6,500 feet long, and runway 02 is 4,000 feet long. It wasn't clear which of these runways was the active at the time, but either way there was plenty of room to fly a gyrocopter from. Anecdotally, I'm led to believe this was the student pilot's third solo flight, and he was flying in the circuit conducting touch and go takeoffs and landings. Now it's unclear what was briefed, or indeed what the student pilot's understanding was in terms of how to react in an emergency. But the NTSB report makes for very troubling reading. It says that during one circuit, the engine warning light illuminated while on the downwind leg, and it didn't extinguish until the pilot had commenced the takeoff roll for yet another circuit. For clarity, the engine warning light illuminated roughly where the aircraft is in this diagram, and it didn't go out until where the star is on the runway. That is a long time to fly ignoring what may be quite a significant problem, especially so when you're a student pilot on your third solo. However, rather than ending the sortie early to investigate the problem, the NTSB report says the pilot dismissed the engine light for oil pressure when it extinguished while rolling down the runway and elected to take off again. He said there was an odd smell after he took off, and the engine was not making power, so he landed again. As if things weren't incredible enough at this point, the report states the gyrocopter was close to the end of the runway, and knowing the ground past the runway was muddy, the pilot elected to take off again. The instructor suggests there was just 200 feet of runway remaining. The pilot said he didn't have enough speed, and the aircraft fell behind the power curve and landed in muddy grass. The wheels of the gyrocopter dug into soft ground and the aircraft rolled onto its side. There are potentially a great number of training issues here, and I'll wait until the final report is published to comment so that we're dealing with the final fact. But for now, and for the benefit of any student pilot flying solo in the meantime, if you're flying in the circuit and any warning lights illuminate, the safest and only option is to land and taxi back to investigate the problem. If you can communicate via the radio that you believe that there is an engine problem, then great. If you're overloaded, don't worry, just fly the aircraft accurately and operate as normal. Never take off with a problem, and if you are in a situation where you feel you can't maneuver on the ground, stop. Explain on the radio your issue in plain non-aviation RT if necessary, and await instruction. Your instructor should give you clear guidance over the radio. Don't fall into the trap that this poor student pilot has.